Let's get it done. This is One Take Rob on the scene. Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and we're going to be watching Rarin's video. Fantastic friend of mine, good content creator, has been blowing up on YouTube. He made a video on Will Ben's Bro new card game be the Hearthstone killer. He's referring to Marvel Snap. For those of you who don't know Bren Brode, this was the lead designer of Hearthstone for many of years up until 4 years ago. He left alongside a couple other of the Hearthstone guys. They started up their own company called Second Dinner. Second Dinner got funding with Marvel. It was like $30 million. They've been working on it for the past 4 years, and they just announced it just a couple days ago. So I figured this video would be very interesting, given Ben Brode was a very loved person in the Hearthstone scene. For those of you who are veterans, you know definitely of Ben Brode. So with that, let's get started.
Ben Brode, one of the makers of Hearthstone, is making a brand new card game to potentially kill Hearthstone. It is supposed to be an insanely fun card battler, with Ben Brode being the chief development officer. This game has potential to take down Hearthstone.
I am so excited to show you what we've been working on for the last
I'm watching a live reaction of a reaction
about making super fun card game combined with the power of the Marvel universe. There's never been a game like Marvel Snap, and we're so excited to share it with you.
Ben's last line there really gives you what they're going for with Marvel Snap. There has never been a card game like this, and to be the Hearthstone killer, wouldn't it have to be pretty similar to Hearthstone?
The first thing that makes Marvel Snap different than other CCGs is how fast the games are. These games
the games are like sub 3 minutes.
Players play simultaneously. There's no waiting.
We've taken your opponent's turns and your turns and layered them on top of each other so that you don't have any waiting. It's just your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn.
So as you can see, Marvel Snap looks like a completely different card game than Hearthstone. Hearthstone looks like it was built for PC first, followed by mobile, where Marvel Snap looks like it's definitely focused on the mobile aspect and then made for PC afterward. They said that Marvel Snap has both players playing at the exact same time, where Hearthstone's a little bit more back and forth. I have to wait for my opponent to do something before I'm allowed to do something. So they're not really going for the same game whatsoever. So the only way that this is going to be the Hearthstone killer is that if this game is so much fun that no one wants to play Hearthstone anymore.
With Marvel Snap, we really wanted to bring it to the next level. Another example is deck building.
Once upon a time, card games had...
Yeah, so I got to play some Marvel Snap today, and the games are really fast, like you said. I mean, Hearthstone games are still fast, like, you know, 3 to like 8 minutes is a Hearthstone game, 8 minutes being pretty long, right? These Marvel Snap games where basically it's 6 total turns, and then you like, get mana each turn, you play your cards. There's a lot of strategy involved. It's a lot of thinky, to be honest. It's not, I guess it could be called a casual, but like there's the whole game is it's like strategy mixed in with like mind games. So it definitely doesn't fall under the same like genre as Hearthstone at all. Like you don't build like a 30 card deck and things like that. So it's definitely going to appeal to like a different audience for sure. And I think the whole Marvel thing about it's gonna like get a lot of nostalgia, and like everybody who used to like collect comic books and stuff, a lot of the arts and the skins that they have in the game are based on like the old comic book style. And I think it's gonna capture a market that doesn't really currently play strategy games, but they're gonna play it because they're like, oh yeah, Marvel, like I loved the Sentinel, or I love Thanos, or I loved, you know, Catwoman, or whatever the hell, you know, they have everything, right? There's so many heroes in the Marvel universe, right? So like there's something there for just about everybody.
60 card decks. You can play 4 copies of any card, which is actually just 15 unique cards. And so in Marvel Snap, we thought, hey, what if we just did 15 unique cards? And actually the games are so fast, we can go down to 12 cards, which is still about the same amount of strategic depth, but it's so much easier to build a deck.
I do think from a mobile perspective that this card game is going to absolutely kill all the other card games. The idea that most of these games are supposed to be extremely fast, I think they said around 3 to 6 minutes, is really good. It's super easy to play this game on a...
Yeah, the game also plays like like I don't play Hearthstone on my phone. You cannot give me enough money to play Hearthstone on my phone. There's too many things happening. There's too much stuff, right? There's interactions. Like imagine playing like Naga Mage on your phone. Like you are out of your mind, right? This game played super easy on the phone. So again, it's catering to an audience that there's very minimal inputs, right? And I think that's a big deal as well. And what Raynad, he's developing his game, The Bazaar, like the amount of inputs per turn for players is a big deal. So no one wants to sit there and keep clicking or like keep tabbing or moving their thumb like a million different places in like a 45-second span per turn, right? They want to like do their turn and then wait a second and then do more inputs, right? But like just the constant flow of inputs that Hearthstone, in my opinion, needs is too much. I don't like the people. Hearthstone's largest audience is on tablets and is on phones. A majority of us, like the PC guys, like I am, there's not like we are outnumbered out here. Most people play Hearthstone on mobile or
if you just want to play a couple games here and there, it feels like it's very easy to approach. Now, obviously, we don't know what the economy is going to be like, if it's super free to play or not, but the idea of making an easy card game for people who enjoy the Marvel universe, this looks like it's going to be an absolute success.
And every card in Marvel Snap has a unique ability. These powers really affect.
He mentioned monetization, so to just briefly cover it, this game, like the monetization, while they do have like a pass just like Hearthstone has, all the cards you can't like you upgrade them through making the cards look cooler. The cards don't like in like Clash Royale or whatever, you would upgrade your units, and by upgrading them they would actually do more damage. So if you queued into somebody who had like all upgraded units and you had the same units, yours would just do less damage. Like you just be at a disadvantage. In this game, all of the cards do exactly what the cards do at all points in the game, and the only upgradable things is cosmetic only, which I think is a pretty huge deal. And then you get cards by upgrading your cards, and you upgrade cards just by playing the game. So I played for like maybe 45 minutes and I have like over 50 cards now. It just keeps farming. It progresses you pretty quickly.
The game, and so choosing the cards that work best together is one of the most fun parts of the game.
The animations look good too.
And Marvel Multiverse ultimately is so rich. How can we get all of that into this game? And the only way to do that is through these variants.
This is what I was talking about.
Like one
the
style
cosmetics you see there.
Collect a bunch of them.
Look at that. Those are so sick.
Variants.
We'll find like really unique artists who have such a distinctive style that we actually want to turn into a variant set.
Like those are so sick. The art is so sick.
We just got our first glimpse on how they're probably going to make a ton of money from this game, which seems to be the cosmetics in different art styles for the same card. In Hearthstone, you have the regular version, you have the gold version, and some cards even have a diamond version, where this one is every single card is going to be the exact same thing, but just in a different art form. If you want your whole deck to be a specific art style, then you're going to probably have to buy packs or whatever they use to actually obtain cards into the game. This is a very good way of getting your players into the game, especially if they're very generous at just giving you a bunch of cards from the get-go, because if people enjoy this game, they will spend more money on packs because they want a specific
look at those animations. Look, you see Cyclops there?
In the rank mode, you're basically fighting against other players, trying to get more cosmic cubes.
If you think you're going to win, you can snap your opponent, and that doubles the stakes.
Doubles the stakes.
The whole mind
How many
games
stakes?
aspect does
Twice as many.
spike my heart rate a little bit. When you feel like you are going to win the game, you
That's
can
pretty cool.
double down and get more rewards back, which feels great when you win.
If you retreat the game, that means you lose the game. But it doesn't feel bad.
So there's even a competitive aspect to the game of getting the cubes, and I think the way that they handle this is very nicely. You could double down, which is a very cool mechanic. I do believe that this is the type of gameplay that you want in a mobile game, where it's fast paced, you feel like you're involved, and you could clearly tell that the people making this game know exactly what they're doing.
So when we launch, there'll be well over 150 base cards for players to collect.
Oh, baby.
And we're going to continue to be adding new cards to the game every single month as these new seasons roll out.
We just really want you to see that there's going to be something new in there every day.
It's really important to us that you're not paying for power. The game is free to play, and you can get every card in the game
sure,
over
it's
time
awesome.
without paying anything.
Sorry for my stupid comment. I just really liked her shirt. She did say that the entire game is free to play and you can get every card just by playing the game without spending any money. That is the case normally now with almost every collectible card game. If you're not going for more of a free to play model, it's going to be very hard to compete with the other card games in the genre currently. Hearthstone's doing a very good job right now if that you play every single day and you.
Yeah, Hearthstone's like the way that they've implemented systems to give back to the players over the years has like increased. Before there was no end of the month rewards, there was no free pass, there was no like beginner free starter deck you didn't really get that many packs and stuff. The daily quests there was no weekly quests, so they've added so much to Hearthstone to engage like the new player base and give them kind of some tools that they would need to like start building out a collection and getting like dust and stuff. So in order for this game to like get people to it after, like, because people spend a shit ton of money on Hearthstone, right? You spend like hundreds of dollars on Hearthstone. You don't want to leave Hearthstone because you feel like if you leave Hearthstone and you start another game, you're gonna have to reinvest all of your sunken assets into like the other games that you're playing back into this, and you don't want to do that, so you just never even try it, right? You're like, I'm not going to spend money on this, and I need to spend money to be competitive, and I'm not going to do that because I'm already invested in Hearthstone. So it's going to be like super important that this game, which it does look, that it's free to play friendly, and like you get a lot of stuff, or at least it feels rewarding that when you play the game and like you win a match or you complete like a quest or a mission or what have you, that you get stuff that makes it be like, oh, I spent my time wisely. You know, this 3 to 6 minutes that I played a match and something happened, like that progression, like makes you want to get more of it. You know, after you win a Hearthstone game, you complete like a quest, you get like 100 gold. That feels pretty good. You're like, I just got a pack for playing that game. I did my daily quest. I actually achieved something, right? There's that reward of something. You obtained a progression, right? And a lot of games and a lot of things do this now, where shit pops up on your screen all the time, and like little bars go across your screen and little stars pop up to make it feel like you're getting a lot, or progressing your account.
Request, it's very likely that you can own the entire expansion as long as you play enough. We'll have to wait and see how much time you actually have to put in with Marvel Snap, but the fact that it is a mobile game can be slightly concerning. All I've seen so far is like the announced trailer for this game. Okay, I'm going in actually completely blind. Ben Brode is one of the reasons why we have Hearthstone the way it is today, so I'm very optimistic on this. Let's see.
This is Ben Brode from Second Dinner, and ooh, I got a couple full games.
We just take a moment and say Ben Brode looks fantastic.
I'm playing a deck that tries to buff my own card.
Okay, so hold on. I don't know if they've said this or not, but is this how it's gonna look on PC? If this is how it's gonna look on PC, I'm already extremely nervous.
Here is Wakandan Embassy. Wakandan Embassy gives +2 power to cards in both players' hands. So all the cards that started in my hand are gonna get an extra little bonus. Every location has a different unique ability. We don't know what the other two are gonna be just yet. They're gonna reveal themselves next turn and the turn after that. The goal of the game is to win 2 out of 3 locations. So if I can win 2 out of 3 locations, then I win the game. Now, I win locations by playing my cards at them, and every card has a certain amount of power, and it adds its power to a location. You have more power on your side of the location than your opponent has on their side of the location. You're winning that location.
To explain what he just said, chat, there's 3 points of interest. Each point of interest has an effect. Your cards have power. The one that has the most power on each point of interest at the end of the round wins that location. Win 2 of the 3 locations to win the game.
So it's turn 1. I have 1 energy to spend. You get a little more energy.
From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the game doesn't look super good. Because it's a phone game being translated over to PC, I don't know how well it's gonna go.
The card I have in my hand that costs 1 is Yondu.
So,
Yondu, that's going to add 2 power to a location, and also when he reveals himself to my opponent, he's going to destroy the top card of my opponent's deck, which will give me a little more information about what kind of deck my opponent is playing. Think about what I want to do, my opponent's thinking about what they want to do, and when we both end the turn, we reveal our choices to each other. Yondu destroys Nightcrawler there, my opponent plays Hawkeye, which gives him a little bonus if he plays another card to that location next turn. So that's a little bit of a hint for me that he might play another card to the Wakandan Embassy next turn. And the middle location here is Avengers Compound. It says on turn 5, all cards must be played here. So I know I'll have to play a card to Avengers Compound on turn 5. So it's turn 3. Let's see what the third location is going to be. The Space Throne. Wow.
What do you guys think of the way the cards look?
Next turn.
The Space Throne. Oh shit, dude, Ben Brode is such a hype
For a
man.
mobile game, they're kind of nice. I can see this game being very fun because it looks very fast paced, and I think that's great. I don't think this game is going to be super streamable though.
Rarn just keeps moving his camera, so I just keep moving my camera with Rarn's camera. Rarn, stop moving your camera.
Game that you would want to play on like a bus or something. It looks like
all the cards in my hand, getting them.
The question is, chat, like, if this game didn't have Ben Brode, right?
Iron Man. Oh no!
Like, would you play this?
Doubles the power to location.
Because like I feel like the thing about Ben Brode is that he can pull people from the Hearthstone scene. Like if this game announced and Ben Brode wasn't a part of this, I don't think I'd be watching this whatsoever, right?
Which means I win that location, which means I win 2 out of 3 locations, and I've won the game, and the cubes have doubled, so I get 2 cubes, moving myself even further up the rank.
The locations are really cool. It's a really cool idea. It keeps the game fresh. If you think of it from Ben's perspective, though, I don't think they're trying to get into the Hearthstone game space. I think especially if you're like Ben Brode, you already know that you don't want to challenge Hearthstone. The game is untouchable at this point, right? So you probably want to make a card game for a different niche, and I think he did a good job, right?
The skill cap is really...
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that he would be allowed to make like a Hearthstone clone, right? So he had to take he knew like he knew he was gonna make a card game or a card-esque game, right? And the fundamentals is mana to play cards, Minions have stats, minion battle minion, right? And then like when you take the fundamentals of like what creates like a card strategy game, right? And then you add like layering on top of it. So how the game is played, is it one turn, one turn, one turn, one turn, one turn? Or like in this case, they layered turns over each other. Okay, are we fighting for health? Are we fighting for points? Are we fighting, you know what I mean? What are we fighting to do with these cards? Are the cards only trying to kill each other? Are we trying to kill a point of interest? Are we trying to put power on a board? You know what I mean? There's been so many different card games, you know, over the years that have all different ways of winning. You know what I mean? Like Kaijudo, you're trying to take out the other person's cards, but when you take out those cards, they flip up and they go into your hand, or they have like on flip effects. There's like a bunch of different ways that you can build around like an objective point to go after to win, right? So as he picked this, you know, it definitely reminds me back in the day of, I mentioned before in the stream, Urban Rivals. Like this gives me a lot of Urban Rivals vibes. And it also still has like the points of interest, so it's kind of like 3 lanes going at the same time, but they're playing simultaneously, right? So it's not like you're in one lane putting things and then the next turn's the next lane, right? Also with the fact that it's very short. I mean, we're talking like only 6 turns per like match. Is very, very, very fast games, which like as a strategy player, it's fun, but like there's a certain time also of investment that like, you know, spamming 30 games in an hour, you know, how like that sounds kind of exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. Like a Hearthstone game, you get invested enough that you play it, and after you win, you have like a breather, right? And then you like queue another one, and you'll probably play like what, like 5 to 10 games an hour. But this is gonna be like twice, if not 3 times as fast as Hearthstone. So definitely not in the same boat.
Really high. I think you can play the Snap for thousands of hours and not feel like you've perfected it.
When no game feels the same, you feel like you're always learning. I think that's what's really important for a game feeling like it has meaningful depth.
We have huge ambition of constantly delivering new content and constantly evolving the meta for the game.
Marvel Snap is a mobile-first title, but that's not the same as being mobile only.
So they said that Marvel Snap is going to be a very high skill cap game, and it definitely looks like it with the dynamic locations on the map. And because you're playing at the exact same time, there is a lot of mind games, which means your decisions matter a ton. But the problem with this game I can see from a competitive standpoint is that it doesn't seem like it's very fun to watch. I was watching other streamers play the game and I wasn't super involved. I think it's going to be a lot more fun for the person playing it, but not really for people watching it, which means
yeah, that's huge. So when I was trying to learn how to play this game and like understand what was happening, by the way, the tutorial of this game is very easy and it's really good. And it gave me more information on how to play this game than actually watching somebody, which I think is good and bad, right? Because if some newer viewer is going to come to the stream or going to come to this title, right, and they're going to watch me play it, and they're watching and they don't understand anything that's happening, because the turns, not that they get, the turns are complex, not that I'm playing like 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in one turn. It's just there's a lot of effects happening and there's a lot of effect stacking, and the cards don't have, like, you can't read the cards like as they are. You actually have to hover over the card, click on it, and then it comes up and then it has its effect. And the effect of the cards are relatively simple. They're 1 to 2 lines of text, like 1 sentence or 2 sentences. They're very short. They're not Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic cards, but like they're definitely gonna need a thing that, like, if people are gonna stream this game, they need an extension that's gonna like show what the cards do if people hover over them. I think that's gonna absolutely need it. Like if that's not out upon release, it's going to be impossible for people to follow this game. They said they will have over 100 or 150 heroes out, right? 100 cards, and each card has an effect. And if you don't know those effects without playing the game and you haven't played it because you're checking it out, it's going to be really tough to follow.
means the esports side of things, I don't really know if it's going to take off. I think the best part about this game is the overall flavor of the look. The aesthetic is fantastic and the cards themselves look absolutely phenomenal. One of the best aspects of Hearthstone is that when you play a card, it actually feels like a minion and not just a card, where this almost feels like the exact same way. They have a really cool animation. The flavor of the specific Marvel character is there, really well done voice line, and most importantly, it feels like you're playing an actual hero rather than than just a card. So my final thoughts on this. I don't think Marvel Snap is going to be the Hearthstone killer. I don't think it's going to kill Legend of Runeterra either. I don't think it's going to kill any card game, but I do think it's going to be a very good mobile game. And the people who like this style of game are going to absolutely love it. People who enjoy the Marvel universe are going to love it. I don't expect it to kill Hearthstone. I just think it's going to be a very good game. Ben Brode, what?
Yep. I can agree to that. It's not killing Hearthstone. People aren't going to, I don't think anybody's switching from Hearthstone to exclusively only play that game. I would be very surprised at that.